So James, what are you doing here?
We've basically decided to come and occupy the square for a couple of days over the City Festival to basically highlight that they're spending all this money about Leicester while they're cutting very vital services, and they've been doing that for the last year now, since January.
Okay. And so what has been cut so far?
Well, they've already shut some family hostels down that cater for obviously people with children, and so I think they lost 72, and then also Upper Titchbourne Street, which used to be for single people. Sorry, excuse me, those chips I just had there. Yeah, Upper Titchbourne Street, that was shut down. I think that was a loss of 44. So altogether it works out about, I think it's 106 altogether.
Okay.
And also they said they were keeping the Yask service open, but what they've actually done is reduce the drop-in times from 8 till 10 in the morning rather than from 8 till 4 in the afternoon. And that means that people that are homeless are actually not able to access advice and support to try and get accommodation.
And what does the future hold then for the hospitals?
Well, the council are proposing to cut another 160 beds from the, I think it's around about 470 odd they have just now. So they actually want to reduce that by another, so it's going to reduce it to around the 300 mark. So it's about 365 altogether will end up being left in Leicester. 48 of them are council run properties, and the other beds, the other 112, that is actually voluntary sector organisations. They have actually already received the notice that their contract is going to end in October, and then they'll have to go through a procurement process which will take 6 months. So in that respect, what we have managed to do is we've managed to make the council stop and think about what they're doing before they actually shut everything, and make sure what they say they're going to have in place is actually going to be effective and help homelessness. I personally don't think it will, and I think the last 6 months trial period showed that, because homelessness is increasing across the country.
Do you know by how much?
Well, the last figures that were released were in June, and it had risen by 4,000 since January this year. But I've uncovered evidence in the last maybe 6 to 8 weeks that local authorities are actually not doing homeless declarations, and they're saying that it's actually people's choices whether they do a homeless declaration or not. Now, if you're first time homeless, you wouldn't know that you have to ask specifically for a homeless declaration. So I wonder if the true figure is actually closer to the 100,000 mark, which I think it may well be, yeah.
And who have you met on your travels? Like what types of stories? 'Cause you've done a lot of work with people who are sleeping rough.
I've met bankers. I've met people that were married, had children just not even 6 months ago. Just with some of the benefits changes that happened in April. One man I met had actually he's actually disabled, but he was actually staying in Spain for a while, and he actually had to come back over because they basically shut off all his money, and he was basically left homeless in Spain. So he had to go to the British consulate to be able to get back home, and that's one of the most shocking. And that was a disabled person as well in a wheelchair. So.
And what do you hope that will be achieved by this
demonstration? We just want the people of Leicester to be aware of what's going on. They're having this big festival at the weekend, the City Festival, and I just think it's an ideal opportunity to engage with the people of Leicester and explain to them what's actually being done in their name, and how Leicester's actually going to look in the future, because Leicester is actually pretty much the last stand for homeless services, certainly in the Midlands and possibly across the country. Apart from the major cities, there isn't really many homeless services in the smaller towns and cities, like similar sizes to Leicester. So if we don't actually do anything about this, then there won't be any homeless services to cater for the rise in homelessness that's already occurring.
Yeah, what's your opinion on the bedroom tax?
Well, I think it's disgraceful. It seems to be penalising the vulnerable again, even more. And that this is people with disabilities. Just yesterday or the Yeah, was it the day before, sorry. Oh no, we're now on Saturday, so it was the day before yesterday. On Thursday, the story broke that Aberdeen City Council are going to evict a disabled woman because she has like £224 in rent arrears and she's like in a wheelchair and stuff. So this is happening across the country as well, probably. I think it's 23 local authorities are actually refusing to evict people, and I put my hands up to them because, yeah, it's really, this is what Leicester City Council behind us here should really do.
And well, yeah, okay, well, thanks very much. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's cool, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, take care.
It's just about, was that about 5 minutes? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I
just
don't
like,
think it stopped actually.